Hi y'all, welcome back to another video. I'm gonna be showing you how to make some press-on nails. Your girl was in a rush this weekend. I wanted to go out, I wanted my nails cute, but this is all I had time for. So press-on nails for the win. I'm using sticky tabs to attach the nails onto the stand because when I tell you I have so many sticky tabs, it's ridiculous. I bought a big, I think it was like 150 or some crazy number pack, thinking that I would wear press-ons with sticky tabs way more often than I actually do. Instead of just tossing them in my drawer and acting like they no longer exist in my stash, I use them to hold my press-ons on the stand, and it works phenomenal for this. And when it comes to choosing the size, you can just choose whatever. It doesn't even matter. Just make sure it covers your stand from side to side so your nail doesn't slip off. Every sticky tab is going to have this plastic piece. Let's go ahead and take that off, and then we're going to grab the nails I'll be using. I keep calling them nails, but really it's Gel X Soft Gel Extensions by Opre. These are the natural style instead of the sculpted style you see me use often. The thing with press-on nails is you want to make sure it doesn't have too high of an apex, which is why I prefer these, because when we're working with air dry nail glue, it's not super thick like a gel, so we don't want the apex to be super high. So after choosing my sizes, I'm going to go ahead and pop them right onto this stand, and you can see it just goes on pretty easy. The only thing you want to do is make sure you add a little pressure, and I like to wiggle it from side to side to make sure it's not going to slide around. It's actually on there pretty good. The last thing you want is one of these extensions popping off the stand when you're doing your nail art, because you are going to be irritated and mad. Trust me, I know, because I have done it. So make sure you check, wiggle it around, add pressure. No matter what brand of extensions you use, there will be this little piece you have to remove. So to get it done quick and easy, I'm going to be using my cuticle nippers. And then I'm going to get these ready for polish. I don't want any dust in my way, so I will be using this product here, which is Gel X Prep, that chemically etches the extension. Get a little bit of this on the brush and begin moving up and down, side to side, round and round. Anything to get me some good texture here, because this is going to help the polish stay on the press-on nails. We put all this effort into making them. We want to be able to use these more than once. To make sure that the polish isn't sliding off of these, we need to prep them, and this is why I like this product. And by the time I'm done, it looks just like this. If you look close enough, you can see those little lines going from side to side, and that is exactly what we need here. What I really like about these stands is that you can connect them, break them apart. I like to connect them when I'm doing bulk tasks. All of the nails except for the pinky will have the same base color. The pinky is going to have a green. This is a syrup gel from the Show Me Korea Moonlit Grove collection. And I'm just going to start off by applying a thin layer of this. If you've ever put syrup on your pancakes, on a waffle, on a croffle, on a crepe, it feels a little bit like that. For the rest of the nails, I'm going to be using my new favorite. This is the Divock Full Makeup Gel. I talked about the shade in my last video, and I am still loving it so far. I really like the color of this. I am very picky when it comes to my base colors because I don't want them to look so unnatural on my skin tone. So I like something with a neutral or brown undertone. This is slightly more pigmented than the original makeup gel, which I absolutely love as well. I was so excited when they came out with this. So here is what one layer of the makeup gel and the green shade is looking like at this point. You can still see the white part of the press-on nail stand. Imagine if that's your nail. So if you're good with one coat, stick with one coat. But for me, I definitely want 2 coats. And once I do that second layer of the makeup gel, you can definitely see the difference. Here on the right, we have 2 coats, and then on the left, we still have 1 coat. So really, I think it comes down to personal preference and what you like, but I just love the shade so much. But I would say don't waste your time doing more than 2 coats, because the difference between 2 and 3 wasn't much, so we can save on product, which is what we like. Here are 2 coats, and I'm happy with the way things are looking, so let's go ahead and do a full cure. Now I'm going to break the stand apart because I'm going to be working on pretty much one design at a time. And the first thing we're going to do is work on these French tips, because out of the entire set, this is going to be what takes the longest. When I'm doing French tips, I like to have a matte canvas. So either I will buff the nail, use a matte top coat, or in this case, I'm just going to use acetone. Because if I'm being honest here, it was the closest thing I can reach. My buffers are in a completely different drawer, and I was like, you know what? Not getting up. I'm going to use the green shade that I used on the pinky for my French tips because we love a cohesive set. So let me be real about French tips right quick. They're not as easy as they may seem. There are tools out there that can make them easier, and less intimidating, but there are still times I hold my breath when doing them. So my recommendation is find a good liner brush. I love this one here. This is my Sweetie Liner #1 brush. And find one technique out of the many that are going around social media, stick with it, practice it over and over until it becomes second nature, and that's how it's going to get easier for you. I get this question often on how I was able to figure out how to do French tips, and really that's all I would do. So that is my recommendation for you. But once I get my outline done, I'm going to fill in the empty space using my same liner brush. And if I so happen to color outside of the lines, I'm just going to clean it up with acetone and a flat brush. The middle finger and the thumb are going to have the exact same design, so I'm going to repeat this process, but I'm not going to lie to you, I was struggling with French tips today. I mean, I think I did this maybe 3 or 4 times. I'm giving you guys the best shot. So this time I decided that it was taking way too long to fill in the empty space with my liner brush, so I did switch over to the brush from the polish bottle so that I can fill in the empty space faster, of course, because it's bigger and wider. But I did feel like I needed a second coat, so I'm going to go ahead and cure this and then go on top with some more of that green polish. Since I already have the French tip underneath the second layer, it was easy to just follow the lines that were already on the nail, so this didn't take much time. But it was definitely needed because I was still seeing a little pink in the green spaces and I didn't like that. So I do recommend 2 coats if you're going to use a syrup gel for your French tips. While that is curing, I'm going to grab my ring finger and my pointer finger and apply a matte top gel. This is the Doughy Matte by Nail Bio. Because we will be doing a 3D isolated chrome design and I don't want the chrome to stick anywhere except for on the 3D pieces. So let that cure and then grab my French tips because they are finally done curing at this point. And I didn't want it to just be green. I wanted to have like a little airbrush feel. So I decided to take this white Pat Pat gel. This is from the Diami Baby Boomer collection. Get a tiny bit of product. And when I say tiny, I mean a little bit. And then I'm going to ease the tip of the nail into the mushroom sponge so that the white is only at the top. And then once I have a good amount, I'm going to blend it out so it looks like an airbrush. I don't want it just sitting there like snow on top of a mountain, you know, because that's exactly what it's given. And then this is what it looks like. You can kind of see it, not really. So I need a second layer. But what I like to do is flash cure in between my layers with this product. I do feel like the pigment shows up better after you flash cure, but Diami does say that you don't necessarily need to flash cure. Once I'm happy with the way things are looking, I will do a full cure. And taking my Macart Rhinestone glue, I haven't pulled this out in a minute, y'all. But it was sitting over there looking at me all lonely, haven't been used in a while, so I decided to use it. And I'm gonna put a little bit of this right in the center of the smile line where it's starting to curve downward. And then I'm going to use these little golden stars and place them right on top because originally I was going to hand draw the stars, but them French tips took me way longer than I expected, so pop on a charm, I was good to go. So the rhinestone glue does need a full cure, so I'm going to do that for 60 seconds. Now I'm going to do the 3D design. I'm going to be taking this product here, which is the Yogo Milk Jam. It is a white 3D molding clay, essentially. Grabbing some with my spatula, I'm going to get just a little bit because we don't need much. And I'm going to roll it into a ball first and then lay it on my desk and roll it into a long worm-like shape. I feel like I have the most control when I start off with it in a ball. So I'm just going to keep rolling and rolling and rolling and then wrap it around the nail so it looks natural. But I'm going to start 1/4 of the way down on the nail on the left-hand side, and then I'm going to wrap it around towards the upper right-hand side. It's going to hang off the sides a little bit. We need to trim that off. I'm going to use the spatula to do so. It's going to be a little sticky, so make sure you add some pressure to kind of like cut it off on the side. And then I'm going to repeat the same process, but this time the second little 3D line is going to go slightly underneath the first. So I'm going to do the exact same thing for my ring finger. That was the pointer finger we just did. Roll that clay out into a little worm shape, wrap it around starting at the left hand side and then working our way to the right hand side. And now we have our 3D shapes. Just make sure to cut off the excess before you cure because they can be really annoying once they harden to get rid of. This 3D clay is not no wipe, so you can put the chrome directly on top of it after curing. However, it's gonna have a grainy finish. If that's the look you're going for, that's perfect. However, I wanted my chrome to look mirrored, just like the charm that's on the middle finger and the thumb. So I'm gonna be taking this no wipe top gel and this tiny brush, and I'm going to go directly on top of those 3D lines. When doing this though, you want to make sure that you're getting in every single nook and cranny. So turn that nail upside down to the side. Make sure you're getting underneath the 3D line. Otherwise, you're going to have some areas that are mirrored and then others that are grainy. But try not to get it in the areas you don't want the chrome. Otherwise, the chrome will stick in those areas. I'm going to show you how to remove it in case it does. So taking this chrome, this is a yellow gold chrome that matches the color of the charm perfectly. And if you have any problem areas where the chrome is just all over the place, you accidentally put some of that top gel where it shouldn't be, that's fine, you can clean it on up. I recommend using acetone in a flat brush, just so you can get in those crevices, but you don't accidentally get the acetone where the chrome should be. We're almost done, girlies, but the thing is, I did top gel differently for each nail, so let me explain. For the green nail, I decided to take a little bit of my top gel and mix it in with my gold chrome. I'm tapping the chrome directly on my palette, and then I'm gonna take my top gel and mix it onto the palette so that I don't get the brush from the polish bottle contaminated. I don't want my whole entire doughy top with gold chrome in it. And then as I apply it, okay, I'm gonna turn the lights down a little bit so you can see the gold shimmer, and oh my, so pretty. It's just exactly what I needed. I wanted it to look like little twinkle stars. Then I'm gonna clean off the brush before I dip it back into the bottle. For the nails with the French tip, I'm gonna go over everything, including the charm. So basically I'm applying this one like normal. We're gonna cure those 3 nails, and then I'm gonna work on the last design, which is where we have that 3D chrome happening here. If you don't want the chrome to pool all over the nail, I recommend you doing your top gel in sections. So apply your top gel underneath the 3D design, above the 3D design, and then turn your brush to the side and get in between the 3D design. I wanted my rhinestone to keep its sparkle, and if you put top gel on top of rhinestone, sometimes it loses that. So I'm going to be taking the McCart rhinestone glue and just a little bit on a dotting tool, and I'm going to put the glue directly on the back of the rhinestone and stick it on top of that golden charm right in the center. So my star is shining, baby. Okay, that's all I want. And at this point, it's time for my final cure. So here is what the full set looks like, including my right hand. I'm gonna go ahead and pop these on. And here are what the nails look like on my hands. So I really hope you enjoyed this video because I have been loving doing press-on nails. So if you do want to see more press-on nail tutorials, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and let me know in the comments if you want to see more. But anyway, if you're not subscribed, make sure you do so on your way out. And in the meantime, I will see you in one of these videos here.